Hey guys, Andrew Strout. I'm here in the sideboard with Roy Reese. How's it going, Roy?
How you doing? Fine.
I'm doing all right.
I'm good.
You have shown up with the Hive. So this is something that I know a lot of people were pretty excited about going into M15 Standard. You pulled the trigger on it. You're playing Slivers.
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little about why you chose to play this deck today.
Well, for the most part, I've been playing Esper for about 2 years now, and it's a new set, new day. Want to try something different. All my buddies at my home store at Red Cap's Corner in Philly, they told me, go for it. I wanted to pull the trigger. I didn't want to at first, and they're like, go for it, do it.
Nice.
So I said, cool.
All right, yeah, I'm all about encouraging players to definitely try something new. All right, and this is definitely new. So the new card from M15 that really kind of ties the whole package together, Sliver Hive. Of course you have 4 of that, as well as 4 Mana Confluence. So just cast things of all the colors.
Everything, just everything.
So 4 Sliver Hive, 4 Mana Weft Sliver as well. And that's kind of the core of the mana base there.
Yes, it gives me the ability to cast everything. Also, Hive Lord turn 3 is pretty nuts.
Sure. Yeah, so. Yeah. The other big addition from M15. Sliver Hive Lord, which you can cast, what, as early as turn 3?
Yes, turn 3. Go, Elvish Mystic, Mana Weft Sliver, into another,
into a third land.
Into a third land, into, another dude, and just goes off right there.
Yeah, so you mentioned Elvish Mystic. That's not one that I think a lot of people would just kind of assume belongs in a Sliver deck, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It gives you that turn 1 ramp. That turn 1 dude, and it's just, it also throws a lot of people off. A lot of people, you see go turn 1 Elvish Mystic, they don't think that you're playing, Slivers. They're just like, mono green or green blue or something.
It's monsters, whatever.
Something random, and you go, turn 2 Mana Weft Sliver. Oh, what's this?
Yeah,
it's a shock. It's a surprise.
Sure.
And I caught a lot of people off guard today with that, and made me happy.
and of course, it's not just the Elvish Mystic that lets you cast the turn 3 Hive Lord. You can also do it with Gale Rider Sliver, right?
Oh, that as well, yes. Because Gale Rider.
Because if you have a turn 2 Mana Weft Sliver,
any turn 1
sliver,
any turn 1 Sliver allows me to go off on turn 3.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you have the first strike one as well.
Striking Sliver, yeah.
So yeah, a couple of kind of like backup faux Elvish Mystics.
A couple bad tricks,
Yeah. And so I guess the core of your Sliver attack force then, you have your mana base. You have all your 5-color lands. You have Mystics, Mana Weft Slivers, and then you have 4 Predatory Sliver. That one's kind of a given.
Of course, yeah.
4 Gale Rider Sliver and 3 Blur Sliver.
Yeah. So Predatory Sliver basically allows me to get in for early damage, like early damage quick. It's like to going on turn 3 for 3 damage is pretty good. And also Gale Rider Sliver allows me evasion. Right. Flying over my opponent just seems pretty good,
Yeah, definitely.
And Blur Sliver just makes every Sliver in the deck live. Going off on turn 3, Blur Sliver, and being able to tap your 3 Slivers for any other Slivers in your hand. It's pretty sick.
I definitely I watched one of your games actually where you had Mana Weft Sliver and Blur Sliver. Yeah. So it was almost as if all your Slivers had Convoke because you could just play them and immediately start tapping them for mana. Yeah, that was pretty impressive to watch as well. So those are you have, again, 4 Predatory, 4 Gale Rider, 3 Blur. Those are, I guess, kind of the core, and then you have a ton of 1-ofs. So, and then tying that together, you have Court of Calling to go get them.
Of course, yeah. Because the 1-ofs basically are there for me to it's just reach, extra reach.
Sure.
I mean, something for me to do. Something if I need to gain life, Siphon Sliver.
Right.
If my opponent is overbearing me with big creatures, Constricting Sliver.
Right.
If I need to battle trick, block, Striking Sliver. Court of Calling. It's just, the 1-ofs are pretty good. Thorncaster Sliver, of course, is a given. Being able to attack and deal 1 damage to a creature or your opponent for kill is pretty good. Leeching Sliver, Venom Sliver, they're all pretty sick.
Particularly, you mentioned Venom Sliver. That's the one that gives all your Slivers Death Touch.
Yes.
There are a lot of kind of hidden combos with that one. If you have a Hidden Sliver Venom Sliver and Striking Sliver.
Venom Sliver, Striking Sliver, great combat tricks. Also,
first strike and Death Touch, they just can't be blocked without the creature dying.
Thorncaster Sliver as well. That's a pretty sick combat trick. Going in there and tapping you guys, attacking for 3, dealing 3 damage, pinging, just machine gunning you guys down.
Of course, Death Touch does not require that the creature with Death Touch deal combat damage.
Exactly.
Just damage. So yeah, that can definitely mow down an army of blockers pretty quick. So in addition to your Slivers, you just have a huge pile of Slivers and then 4 Elvish Mystics and some Chords.
Of course,
that's your main deck, and that's a pretty solid game plan. You have 1 Garruk Caller of Beasts in the main.
Yes.
I get it. Your deck's a pile of creatures. Garruk like restocks your hand. Garruk sounds great. And then in your sideboard, you have so many other planeswalkers. It's what? Another Garruk, 2 Xenagos, 2 Liliana.
No, in the sideboard is actually a Jace memory of that. No, the Garruk is in the main, not in the sideboard.
Okay, sorry, yeah, you don't have another Garruk in the main, but yeah, you do have, what, 2 Xenagos, 2 Liliana, 1 Jace, and 1 Elspeth.
Yes.
All right, and a 5-drop Jace.
I mean, yeah. But basically, the Planeswalker in the sideboard is mainly for, the control mirror, a control matchup.
Right.
That was my biggest fear coming here, and playtesting against control a lot. I found that it was pretty tough to beat them. Pretty tough to beat control because, turn 4, verdict for the most part. If I don't have a high blower out, it's just destroys me.
Yeah, this definitely seems like a deck that is very vulnerable to sweepers.
Yes,
so I can see that being a problem.
And the sideboard Planewalkers, this allows me, that extra win condition.
Right.
Actually, Mike Noss, decided to help me out with the deck and told me, tie in some Planeswalkers, and just, give yourself that extra oomph.
Yeah, definitely. So, like, kind of the idea is to, like, have something you can play that you can play when they're about to untap and like have the 4th land to cast Supreme Verdict.
Exactly.
That won't die to their Supreme Verdict.
Exactly. They have, and plus if they want to, waste their removal on it, cool. I still have my Slivers.
Sure. Okay.
It's fine.
All right. So I know you mentioned that this was, of course, you were trying something new.
Yeah.
You have to be playing Slivers. Slivers is new. You couldn't have done this last week. And so it's obviously there's a lot of moving parts to this deck. It's you're not just going to like immediately know the perfect way to build a Sliver deck.
No, this is definitely a work in motion. I'm definitely looking to tweak it and get it to that perfection stage.
So if you could start the tournament over, would you change anything?
Yes.
What have you learned playing this tournament?
I learned that you need to play negates. Negates
okay.
in your sideboard. You need some type of counter, some type of something to stop board sweepers and removal.
Sure.
Because if you don't, you're just dead.
All right.
Yeah, I learned that early.
Fair enough. Okay.
Also, I probably would take out, the Jace. The Jace didn't seem to be too well on the sideboard. It didn't prove to be that useful.
Didn't really do what you wanted to?
Not at all. Yeah, that's about it for the sideboard. And,
How about the Slivers? Were there any, would you tweak the numbers, or any one of should be kind of moved up some more?
I would probably down a constricting Sliver to the sideboard, for the simple fact that it didn't prove to be as useful in the main.
6 is a lot of mana.
Yeah, it was. It definitely was a lot of mana, having it in the hand and being like,
all right.
And basically I would try to, up my count of, just value creatures, the better value creatures, the smaller guys,
Okay, cool. Fair enough. Like more death touch guys,
exactly,
maybe, or more
maybe one more death touch guy, maybe one more leeching Sliver.
Okay.
Just to get that early damage in.
All right, fair enough. Well, it was definitely a sweet deck and one that I hope that we kind of see more of and see it develop further in the future. But
Me too.
Thanks for sitting down with me, man.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Stick around. We've got plenty more coverage coming of the Standard Open here in Baltimore.